All right. Good morning, and thank you everybody for being here.
Morning, morning.
Hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving, enjoyed some time off, and only a few more weeks, and we're back to that, right? A little more time off. It's a pretty nice time of year. So during last session, we went through some discussions, but I know in this one, SEIU is ready to present a counter proposal, so I will turn the floor over to you.
Appreciate it. Can you all hear me? I think I can hear me. Okay, so after some conversation with members of my committee, after talking to members of the bargaining unit, we do recognize the district has attempted to do something similar to what we were seeking to do by providing a multi-tier wage increase that we believe will help bridge the gap of what had previously been happening, in which there's compression from below in providing an across-the-board increase based off of years of service. So what we've done, if you look at, and do you all have copies of it? I have a few extra maybe. They're going around? Okay. Is I took largely a lot of the language in particular around Article 9, Section 1, around increasing the rates. But I wanted to obviously build in something different as far as tiers, where I believe the union had originally 11 different tiers, and then the district came back with 5. You'll see in your proposal here, presented a 6-tier system, which provides across-the-board increases accordingly. You'll see Tier 1, and we did take for the first 4 of them, we took the same metric that the employer proposed to us. So that the Tier 1 would be from 0 to 2 years, or just under 2 years, a 3.5% increase. From Tier 2 would be from 2 to 6 years, just under 6 years, a 5% increase. Tier 3 from a 6 to just under 9, or under 10 years, a 5.5% increase. From Tier 4, from 10 to 15 years, would be that 6% increase. We created that 5th tier to go from 15 to 19.9 years, 99 years, at 7%, and then a 20 and up would go to 8%, which we believe would help kind of go back to what we were looking at, is to reward workers by their years of service with the district. Obviously, the numbers are, higher than what the district had proposed back to the union, but that's really nothing new in terms of bargaining, right? The question is, where do we land? Then we're in agreement on the $1,500 one-time payment, or 3% of his or her salary, whichever is greater. And then we took, after some conversation with many of our custodial folks, in the regular agreement, to increase that supplement, and I put, for sake of showing the differences between the proposals, we increased the lead person as 4-person 1 supplement from the $350 to $900, the 2 supplement from $900 to $1,150, the lead person for 4-person 3, $1,400, 4-person 4 to $1,650, and then the 4-person 5 supplement to $2,100. And in recognizing that's an additional amount of responsibilities performed by these workers. And in Article 10, Section 3, we are in agreement to add these. They had previously not been provided to these workers, but to show that these, by their very nature of being a supervisory unit worker, they needed to be higher than that of the lead person stepping up in the regular agreement, and recognizing that while, this is meaningful, especially for those workers in that position, we recognize that these are very few workers in the district overall. They just hold a higher status and take on additional responsibilities at each of these individual campuses. You'll see 4-person 1 supplement $1,450, 4-person 2 supplement $1,650, 4-person 3 supplement $1,900, 4-person 4 supplement $2,150, 4-person 5 supplement $2,400. And then we had sort of recalibrated a previous proposal from March 8th of 2022 regarding the hazardous duty pay. It's similar but changed from that proposal. And in Section A, it would provide very specific, a stipend, a special hazardous duty pay stipend of 25 cents per hour for these specific job classifications all year round, right? And then in Section B, it would be the hazardous duty pay for very specific work that is performed, and they could potentially be performed by other workers who are not regularly performing these duties, but have obviously been trained into, doing them safely. But while they're performing these additional higher risk duties, they're gonna get a specific supplement accordingly. So you'll see Section 1, working in a bucket lift such as gene lifts, articulation boom lifts, bucket trucks, working on a hanging or swing stage, ladders, or fixed scaffolding where a free fall of over 6 feet is possible, which would be 75 cents per hour. Performing operations and maintenance, O&M cleaning related to asbestos, material abatement, and requiring the use of protective clothing, devices, and equipment, 75 cents an hour. Sanding, grinding, and replacing automobile and truck body parts, and applying primer and finish coats of paint to such automotive equipment at 75 cents per hour, and then welding and joining for 75 cents per hour. Again, they're a small segment of our skilled trades workforce that's performing these duties, but we do believe these would provide a meaningful benefit to reward these workers for their service in these higher risk categories. So that's effectively our counter. We did have a level of discussion on the other proposals. I think we're close on several of them, including the dues deduction proposal. We did need a bit more time on the Article 14 transportation working conditions around the bus attendance issue. We'll be coming back potentially the next session with a more robust, workable proposal in recognizing that the district had some specific concerns, and we want to make sure that, while we recognize those concerns, we're also administering them in a way that they can be performed by those workers at each of the compounds. So that's effectively where we're at. So just sign here. If there's any questions you guys have on the proposals, we're happy to take them and discuss them.
No question. Anybody on the team have any questions? No? All right, we are going to caucus for a minute. We'll be back as soon as we can. Okay?
Appreciate it. We'll hang out.
It's on your phone. That's right, USA.
early was to, get salary increases our employees' checks the start of the new year, when this starts January 1st, issue a bonus prior to winter break. And if we were able to settle today, which we came to the table hoping that we would, the bonus could have been paid out in December. Pushing the salary increases and the pay level changes in the salary schedule, though, would also help us staff those positions. Obviously alleviate some stress of the employees who are performing the work with fewer employees, hired. So, we look at it from that point of view too. And we appreciate keeping these negotiations professional, addressing issues that impact the collective group, not just some individuals. We've come to the table the last 2 years with raises that exceeded what most districts in Florida were able to offer, including significant raises for bus drivers, resulting in the highest starting hourly rate of all bus drivers in Florida, in schools. And last round of bargaining, the average increase was 11.9% for SEIU. And this round of bargaining, we came here to the table with 3.5% offered. And so over 8 years, this represents 33.4% increase for SEIU, 33.4%. That's higher than any other employee group in the district. It's a 4.175 average over those 8 years. So when we opened negotiations, we did inform you we had 3.5%. That's what we got. We went to the board beforehand and tried to really get through this quickly. We didn't come in trying to lowball anybody or try to offer 1 or 2% or just one-time bonuses or something like that. We came in with what we had authority for, what we had money for. So that was 3.5%, and that does not include the nearly $8.7 million that is on the table for employee bonuses, okay? And that's somewhere between 5 and 6% right there. So that's one-time bonuses, that is. Your initial proposal of the 11 tiers, I think last time we came to saying it was about 5.9%, right? And so we came back and tell you that, this is something we can't do. We had 3.5%. That's what we offered our teachers. That's what we're offering other employees. So this new proposal that you have here is approximately 5.6%. So it's really not much change at all. But you've also made significant changes to those supplements for custodial, lead person and four-person. The four-person supplements don't even exist right now. So we did that in an effort to, just like we said last session and maybe the session before, that we are committed to addressing the compression issues. And we understood that, well, if we gave, if we just did it for the leads to try to, reduce some of the compression between the lead and the regular custodian, we would only be then creating compression between the lead and the four-person. So that's why we introduced that four-person, right? But those in your proposal have significantly been increased as well. In addition, added hazard pay. So in the way I look at this, I think this, instead of coming closer together on this, we've come further apart on the total cost of this proposal. And I know you work with many districts, and I'm not sure. I'm wondering, is there another district that has offered something like we offered last year, along with what we put on the table this year? Because what I've seen are a lot of zeros, where districts literally gave zero recurring increase. Some may have just given a one-time bonus or something like that. When we didn't do that, we came right up and gave significant raises during those times. But if there are some other districts that have something that is similar to what you're proposing, I'd really love to see them, because I cannot find it. So ultimately, it's the district's hope that we could have come a little closer today in the numbers in these proposals, but we're pretty far apart. Unless you're willing to adjust the percentages in your tiers to get to a 3.5% total, make minor adjustments maybe to those custodial supplements. Agree to our current proposal with the commitment that we will be looking at it, doing a market study and looking at jobs and or come up with a different proposal that we could consider. We really would have to regroup here to figure out where we're going to go.
We recognize that I don't disagree with anything you say, that we are far apart, right? And obviously, professional, collegial conversations, we're trying to split the difference between recognizing that we've got a brand new labor market that is foisted upon everybody, right? Our workers are starting to look around. Do they go somewhere else? Do they stick around here? Does the employer have the ability to recruit, retain its staff, especially as the new $15 an hour minimum, and especially with, you guys don't know your budget next year. We recognize that. I have no idea what will happen with the Florida legislature and K-12 education funding next year. Nobody in this room does, right? I mean, I would hope you guys know more than I do, and I would assume you do. But there's no guarantees. So we're trying to figure out on our end is making sure what we believe will keep our people from looking around and going somewhere else, going into the private sector or another district, and thus exacerbating the problem where you've got one worker out of three who's actually in a role, and he or she is just grinding without any help. I think custodians and drivers, that's been the two of the biggest, in food service as well, three of the biggest instances of having that concern. So as it pertains, and I won't, I'm not going to make a counter proposal. I do recognize everything the district has said. I will say also that, some districts, it really depends on where you're at. A small district in, say, the Panhandle versus a larger one is going to have a heck of a lot less resources. It's a different economic variable there, but also different competition. A bus driver can compete, an entity should be able to compete versus, a private delivery service in a county like Palm Beach County versus one in, say, Calhoun County, right? I think a lot of our other districts are still in negotiations. We did have the spirit of getting in early to attempt to reach an agreement. I will obviously caucus with my folks in terms of, do we want to work around the edges on across the board or the one-time payment or what have you. I can't, commit to what we'll do, as sure as you won't commit to what you will do. Hopefully we'll meet together in that framework. Ideally we'd reach agreement before the holidays. We would love our people to be paid before the holidays, and thus we know you guys would as well, because they come back in January, right? Right. I will say I would like to have further conversations on the impact of those supplements, because I knew some of them, even while it is an increase of potentially, $2,400, there's not that many of them, right? And so I want to say that, if we're looking at the total ballpark cost of that, 30 people versus, 4,000 folks, I want to kind of figure it, is there room to play with on both our ends? As it pertains to the across the boards, I think everyone's trying to figure out what's the investment going to be, the district willing to spend, in the union willing to absorb that with an unknown scenario ahead of us, and I obviously applaud the district in coming to the table, on transportation. We've knocked it out of the park here, right? We recognize that. We're trying to make sure we do as much as we can to make sure that the problems that have come in transportation are not problems in every employee group across the district. We'll have some discussion. We'll caucus, potentially counter. We do appreciate your position, though we obviously recognize we think you can do more than you think you can do, but that's fundamentally the name of the game here, right?
Sure. So when I get in, I know we've talked about this in previous sessions, we can't do it all at once, but we are committed to doing it. And the market study is what's going to drive all of that, right? So not just, well, we want this job increased. What's the market tell us?
Yeah, of course.
So that's where we're at, and keeping our employees, from going to like jobs in other organizations is dependent upon what the market rate is.
We recognize that.
So that's sort of where, we think there's a lot to, that market study is happening, and there's a lot that's going to come of that. And I think that it just makes a lot of sense because we all know there isn't this unlimited pot of money. So if we are going to make adjustments, we should make adjustments where it's needed the most and let that drive the decision making.
One thing I want to float because, and obviously this is more of a, would the district consider something along the lines of, and I say this, you'll need to, really be Ms. Frederick's ability to crunch this, is right now there are so many uncertain variables with next year's education funding, right? It could be as good as it was this last year. It could be significantly worse. It could be, heck, it could be better. Who knows? I think that's unlikely.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully I'm just a
Right.
pessimist. However, one thing that I've been, seeking to do is, and I know this obviously would pertain to how you bargain with other bargaining units as well, and I recognize that you can't just carte blanche just agree to it, is a scenario in which we could either have language that is triggered of an across-the-board specific increase should the district receive X in terms of FEFP state funding. And I recognize the difficulty of doing that, right? Or triggering an automatic reopener once that budget is finalized. Now, if I'm you, I would rather not perpetually be in bargaining with any of your bargaining units. But the peace of mind as for what we're seeking is we recognize you have an uncertain year ahead of you, as pretty much every year in Florida now, right? But if there's language that says if X happens, then this increase occurs. If X doesn't happen, here's what occurs. It's something to chew on that might get us closer to an agreement.
I think
But we'll caucus and talk about it.
right. Okay.
Sorry, you had something? Anybody? All right.
All right.
We'll take 30.
Okay.
Thanks.
We reserved. Are you trying to stay in here?
We can move. Yeah, we'll go there.
It's cold.
We have another room?
Or there's the room right next door here. So B or A are both available. So
We'll take it.
okay.
Cool. Ready? Everybody back in? All right. Everybody's itching for a deal. Let's hope we can make one here. Obviously, we'll take some calculations. So the union is willing to put forth an economic proposal utilizing those 5 tiers, but really, it's effectively reducing it to 4, where Tier 1, which we put forth today from 0 to 1.99%, instead of 3.5, we'd go to 3%. Tier 2, from 2 to 6, which are going to be the bulk of the group, to 3.5%.
Tier 2 to 3.5%?
Tier 2 to 3.5%, down from 5. Tier 3, from 6 to 9.99, or years of service, to 4%. And then 10 years and up, 4.5%. I'm going to repeat it,
Nope, I think I got it.
okay? The easiest way to look at it, tier 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. And then the $1,500 one-time payment, and amending our proposal on the supplements down $50 per category, meaning lead person as 4-person 1 supplement from $900 to $850, the 2 supplement from $1,150 to $1,100, the 4-person 3 supplement from $1,400 to $1,350, the 4 supplement from $1,650 to $1,600, the 4-person 5 supplement from $2,100 to $2,050. Then it's the supervisory, the 4-person 1 supplement from $1,450 to $1,400, 4-person 2 supplement from $1,650 to $1,600, the 4-person 3 supplement from $1,900 to $1,850, the 4-person 4 supplement from $2,150 to $2,100, and the 4-person 5 supplement from $2,400 to $2,350.
So wait, just to clarify, that's down $50 in each one, right?
Yep. We did not discuss the hazard pay issue, nor the Article 14, nor the other issues outstanding. You only gave us like 35 minutes, come on.
Three. I'm just trying to do some calculations.
You're missing Mark Mitchell, the,
I know. He left us the model though, so we're good.
he didn't leave you though, did you?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
There's a lot of people leaving now.
Say again what you said about the hazard pay?
We did not discuss it.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to need to give us a few minutes to see. I know we're short on time. Somebody's in here at 1? No? Oh, they are. Okay. So let me see. Give us a few minutes. We're going to run
You want us to
next
leave?
door. No, we'll run next door.
And we did raise the temperature in here, so it shouldn't be as cold.
Is it related to this?
Reducing everything by 2% would not have gone to the same percentage? I know 153, 3.5 was discussed, because I want to.
So, all right. Thank you for giving us some time to run through this. So we are willing to make a deal today, and I think we're there. So on your counter proposal, ranging from 3 to 4.5%, we agree to that. It comes to a blended 3.85. On the supplements, we are proposing the following for leads: 750, 1,000, 1,250, 1,500, 1,850.
So repeat that, leads 750,
1,000, 1,250, 1,500, 1,850.
okay?
And then for 4 persons, 900. Remember, these didn't exist. There was 0. They're differentiated with a different pay level. 900, 1,200, 1,400, 1,700, 2,000. So they've all increased over our original proposal, I think, with the exception of like the lead person for a 4-person 5 is the same as what we proposed.
Okay. So make sure I have this right. It's agreement with the union's counter-proposal from 15 minutes ago, which you're saying blended ends up being a 3.85% across the
Correct.
board. And then the district counters to the union regarding the supplements for leads, 750, 1,000, 1,250, 1,500, 1,850.
Correct?
And then for 4 persons, 900, 1,200, 1,400, 1,700, and 2,000.
Correct.
Okay.
And then,
It's okay.
and then on the other items, so as far as hazard pay, we're thinking that, some of that's going to be addressed in the market study, and that's where we're looking at, taking a deeper dive into that and trying to handle that. If something needs to be adjusted, that's where we would be willing to do it. And basically, that's it, wrapping it up. Taking the other, there was a proposal about the bidding for bus attendants. We're happy to have a discussion about that, or with like a study group or something like that to try to see where we can, if there's something that can be done there. But I know that from our stance so far, we weren't ready to make any moves on that. But our interest is really to be able to try to get a deal done. That way we can get bonuses paid out before winter break. We could get increases into people's paychecks as soon as possible, and hire people at the rate that we want to hire them at and fill those positions. So that's where we're at.
Okay, just because it wasn't mentioned, still assuming one-time payment $1,500.
Correct.
Okay,
Or 3%, whichever is higher,
3%, whichever.
which is between 5 and 6%.
Yep.
So,
All right, let us, well, I don't know if we can caucus. I have to run for a termination hearing 20 minutes away at 2, but let's have a quick caucus on our end.
you want to step out real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 minutes?
Stepping out, or we're stepping out? Okay.
Me when I was in second grade. That's what it feels like. All right.
Tim, can I call you Tim?
Yes, you can.
We have a deal?
All right.
No, we appreciate the movement made by the district, especially on the tier system, which I do believe we'll be doing the right thing for our membership as well as the district and making sure that people get this increase expedited as fast as possible, / we'll set up a ratification and, you know, obviously the holidays. We'll try to make the holidays not matter.
Right.
When is the last possible day we could do a ratification and get it in front of the board?
So I would need, it would likely be going to the board on the 14th.
Okay.
And we have to have a file in HR on the 15th. So everything has to be done basically by the 14th.
Okay.
Then, you know, ready for the 15th,
Okay,
if that's possible.
we'll make it work.
Well, thank you, everybody, for your work on this. I appreciate us all working together, and really excited about this deal.
All right.